What's up, guys? Local Bulls fan here. I know I was saying I think I posted that I was gonna do a video because how angry I was over the trade deadline, but here I couldn't help myself. I had to crawl my way back. Today is Valentine's Day, so I look a little rough because I'm trying to get everything ready for my girlfriend when she comes and everything. So I had some little bit of time to actually record finally, and I thought about what I wanted to make this video about because I don't post so often, so I didn't want it to just be a rant of me saying how AK is stupid, how they're not making any fucking moves. I didn't want that for 15 minutes if I'm only like posting here and there. So what I decided to do was really just today in class I was thinking, where the hell did it all go wrong? You have your three best players playing, and it's just like, you're not even at 500, you're not even at mediocre, you just suck. You have your three all-stars, your big three. You're supposed to at least, at bare minimum, just be mid, like any other team. Just DeMar, all NBA, Zach, Vooch, they're just very much a more talented Wizards type team, you know? And I'm just thinking, there's no way, like, it was all dependent on Lonzo. There's no way it's freaking Ayo Dosunmu's fault or Kobe White's fault because them boys are just not traditional point guards. Like, Lonzo wasn't even on ball that much. Like, come on. So it just really got me thinking, like, when did shit start hitting the fan? And I think the first move AK ever made, one of the first moves, it wasn't. Some people say it's trading for Vooch, getting rid of those. It wasn't that many picks. After the season, we wipe our hands with it. Was it the best trade? No, because you still took on bad salary. They have to, you gotta have to match, but you still took on the pretty bad contract in Alfred Camino. It'd be different if it was expiring. But anyway, it wasn't the Lonzo Ball trade. He's the perfect point guard next to Zach LaVine, plain and simple. It wasn't the tampering. It wasn't trading for DeMar. It was drafting Patrick Williams. It's funny because I'm a big Patrick Williams guy. I very much defend him. You could ask my roommate, Trey Five. He's the one that I always put the music on in the intros and the outros. He cannot stand Patrick Williams, and I'm always defending him and always like making sure Patrick, he gets his respect. But man, if you think about it, like, I can't see another way it all went wrong. You drafted him over Tyrese Halliburton. Mind you, I went back and looked. I'm not going to be one of those idiots who are just like, yeah, they could have got Desmond Bain instead. They could have went for Tyrese Maxey, Manuel Quickly, X, Y, and Z. No, like, they were drafted so far after. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. That's not the way it works. They were diamonds in the rough, plain and simple. They took advantage of their opportunities, plain and simple. But I'm looking at other mock drafts. I went back to actually look. I watched his highlights and everything because I was set on Denny Avia in that draft because I wasn't. Normally, I wait till March Madness to decide, like, all right, who's a solid player, start looking at everything. But there was no March Madness. But AK's move was just, at the end of the day, this is his job. He's putting his stamp. This is the 4th overall pick. I get it. It was a top-heavy draft. You're the first one that has to pick out of the, outside of the collective 3. So wouldn't that make sense more to make sure you get this right? Patrick Williams, I'm trying to put my, my headspace in that headspace. He was 6th man. Okay, who cares in college? But I mean, like, for the 4th pick, I get it if it was like the 9th or the 12th, because Zach LaVine was 6th man, if I'm not mistaken. I think, was it Russ? I don't know if Russ was, or Devin Booker. Just it's more common, but at the end of the day, they weren't drafted. No, I don't think Russ was. He was drafted pretty high. They they weren't drafted that high. And at the end of the day, like, you can make the excuse of like, yeah, it was COVID, so they didn't get to see X, Y, and Z. They couldn't do traditional, blah blah blah. But I'm like, that's every reason why they should have went harder. Because then I think about the fit too. I don't know the same way they need to see. I need 2.5 seasons to decide if they're gonna make a trade to actually improve this team. The same way they should, taking their time to actually look who to draft. Because mind you, Kobe White, we all knew he wasn't a traditional point guard that would fit with Zach LaVine. He was the best option to draft. I'm not crying because we didn't draft Rui Hachimura or Cam Reddish. Kobe, trust me, I'm not. No one's losing sleep over that for that Garpatz pick. But you see already the fit isn't there. But then you see Tyrese Halliburton with the vision. You see, I don't see anything wrong with it. I don't see why they wouldn't go after it. I don't care about the position because there's an argument to be made at that time. This is gonna sound kind of stupid. Otto Porter was our starting small forward. He was part time. He came in, collect the check, dribble the ball here and there, and dipped. But man, I know on the thumbnail I'm planning on putting it as like the move that might set us back 10 years. And I think it's very important because you have an opportunity to really pick someone for your future. We're sucking right now, but at the end of the day, if it was the same situation, mind you, it's gonna just work with me on the hypothetical here. Just a whole hypothetical situation. But we had Tyrese Halliburton with this team, and we were sucking, mind you. I doubt we would be, but let's say we were. We'd be like, all right, that's cool because we still got Tyrese, but no one's saying that. Like, all right, cool, we still have Patrick. Because he just like. I remember seeing Tyrese just so distraught when he was traded from Sacramento to Indiana. Who the hell's sad about leaving Sacramento? I get it's Indiana. But I mean, like, that man was loyal. Like, I don't know how they couldn't have seen these things and be like, that's the guy I want. When you're drafting at 4th, you're going for your franchise player. Mind you, this is not me to diss Patrick Williams. This is not a dissing Patrick Williams video at all. I don't think he could be, at best, a starting player. I think at best he's a starting player on a championship team, but I do not think he's gonna be like one of the first, second, or third option. It's not me dissing the guy at all. Like I said, I'm very much a pro Patrick Williams on this team, getting touches. I love the development between young players, because that elevates your seat. It makes it a lot easier than having to be desperate, oh, I gotta trade for a role player instead of developing your guys, where you could develop high quality role players like Boston did with Marcus Smart. Because I remember he couldn't shoot for shit in the beginning of his career. Now look at him. As well as no one really thought he could be point guard, but now look at him. But I digress. Tyrese Halliburton was right there. And no matter what, you could have gotten him. But now they keep saying continuity. They keep wanting to draft project players. I think they got lucky with Ayo, if I'm being 100% honest. I love Dalen Terry. But you're in a position of need. You could have gotten Walker Kessler right there in your lap. When I hear them say they don't want to pay the price for a certain trade, like, yes, you are competent. You can do your job. But does that mean that no one's saying for you to do a bad trade, obviously. But what are you valuing your pieces? Because at the end of the day, you were having a fire sale not too long ago. But now it's, you're being a miser. It's just ridiculous to me. Because then this trade deadline, they didn't do anything. They didn't make any obvious moves that they saw. As well as, I can't stand Billy Donovan for the life of me. But you see Billy Donovan, you picked him before the draft. And you see he knows a thing or two about guards, believe it or not. With Russ, CP, Dennis Schroeder, SGA, he knows a thing or two. Dennis Schroeder was good back then, dropping 19 points. He crossed up and embarrassed DeJounte Murray. but that was back then. That we're talking about now. We're still talking about back then. You know what I mean? He could have seen something. There's no way you're just like, all right, I'm gonna go with this project player, but then you're content with moving forward. All right, you see, he hasn't been the best yet. He hasn't shown a lot. He had flashes, but he hasn't proven nothing. And then you decided to just, all right, I could still progress forward. Now, if you had Tyrese instead to do those moves, that makes all the sense in the damn world. And this could really set you back because now this season you don't have your pick. Right now I'm a big armchair GM guy. I love just going on the trade machine. I love rebuilding teams on 2K. I understand it's not the most realistic thing. I understand there's a lot of deals you can't do. It's just very fun for me. I just love doing it. But mind you can't... Fuck, I lost my train of thought. You just cannot make these drastic decisions. I think it's okay. You don't... Now I remember where I was. This season, you're really just backed in a corner. Your team sucks. We're not mediocre. We suck. I don't care who's coaching. Your 3 best players on the floor, they're not giving it their all. I don't care who's the supporting cast. These are your best players. These are your guys. They're supposed to have chemistry. Point guard, no point guard, whatever. Who's worried about Alex Caruso being healthy? Lonzo, no. These are your 3 best players. At most, they need to be mid. Now you don't really have cap space. You're forced to re-sign Vooch because that'd be stupid if you don't. You don't have that much money wiggle room to. You're just backed in a corner. And for what? What are you gonna do? You want to build around DeMar and Vooch? You want to build around Zach and DeMar? I like that idea more. I like any idea that still involves Zach, but at the same time, you need to have. It's kind of hard when you're three out of the 5 guys on the court can't defend for shit. It doesn't make any sense. Overall, what I'm trying to say is that they need to take a step back, 2 steps back, to really evaluate and learn how to really know what it is to evaluate talent. Because you had Tyrese right there. Because the same reason you could have made they drafted Patrick Williams because, they couldn't do X, Y, and Z the way drafts are normally happened, blah, blah, blah. That means you should be extra careful. You should have gone all out. And you see that's a position of need, a point guard. You let Chris Dunn go. Chris Dunn was done. But it was an actual position of need, a real playmaker, because then we're in the same position again. Those guys are both scorers in college. They're both scorers and who can dish out, who have, a good feel for the game. It's ridiculous. He would have been perfect next to Zach LaVine. I don't mean to nitpick and just decide, what am I going to be mad about the Bulls today? But if you really think about it, this is going to really... If they can't clean it up and get their stuff together, it's really going to set them back for a long time. Because Tyrese Halliburton, the Pacers were planning on taking, but that man, I think if it wasn't for him, they would have traded Miles Turner. But now they have a squad. They're ready. And that's a player you should have drafted. He was top 3 in Rookie of the Year votes. Come on. I'm done with the standard of just all right, they're better than, guys who aren't meant to be in the league like Jim Boylan and Fred Hoiberg or Garpax. They're meeting the league requirement. No, this is the damn Chicago Bulls. They need to exceed that. They don't get brownie points for being competent. It would be different if they just drafted a whole bust Anthony Bennett who can't play in the league. But yes, you have an eye. You can see NBA talent, like a competent individual in your position. And now it's just, I don't want to say they're screwed, but Dame isn't Dame time at the last couple games of the season. I don't know. I don't know if they. I mean, you could recoup and still, get somewhat of what you got with Vooch. You could probably get more than what you gave for DeMar. Same goes for Alonzo and Zach. But I mean, this was all avoidable. A lot of their problems are very much avoidable. A lot of the issues they are facing now, they could have had the answers to. They're the ones that shot themselves in the foot. I don't like making excuses. We waited so long for a competent team. We were told these were the guys to really come in. Waited so long. I'm not gonna wait any longer. I'm not gonna sit, be patient. Oh, I was gonna speak some Spanish. Oh, I'm sorry for you guys. You guys had your first draft was in COVID season. There was no March Madness. Blah blah blah. It's Y and Z. No. There's no. There's a reason why I am sitting in this chair going to school, and not in the front office. There's a reason why other fans like me aren't doing that. There's a reason why you are there having these positions. There's a reason. It's not like Tyrese Halliburton. He was drafted 12th, but in mock drafts, he was going to Atlanta at 6. In mock drafts, at one point, he was going to the damn Bulls at 4. It wasn't out of the realm. It wasn't like freaking going down and getting, like I said, Desmond Bane, Maxey, quickly, etc., etc. It wasn't some taboo the way we all reacted when you got Patrick Williams instead of trading down. I know it turned into a rant, but at the end of the day, really hope this team gets it together, because it's just, I think us Bulls fans deserve some hope, some Bulls hope, and see what they do for the rest of the season. Honestly, you can want them to win, you can want them to lose. I would just want them to lose, so just smack AK in the face. But I hate the idea of just not good basketball being played. So I'm indifferent. It's whatever to me. Tyrese Halliburton's doing his thing in Indiana. That man couldn't even freaking talk to the press after the trade. That man needs some time to process. If I don't know, Chicago would have loved a guy like that. Chicago would have loved someone who cared about their city where they play, taking pride in took pride in a place like Sacramento. I can't even make fun of them. They're lighting the damn beam. He's taking pride in a place like that. Imagine Chicago. But here's what it is. Happy Valentine's Day, guys. Thank you so much for watching my videos. I'll see you when I see you.